We are now having the situation where we have 20 million doses, so that would inoculate 10 million people of what we know right now to be the best vaccine available, the Pfizer vaccine. This would get everybody, even in a slightly vulnerable category in Australia, vaccinated with that, and the rest of the population, worst result, AstraZeneca. I mean, that seems like a pretty good result, including AstraZeneca being made in Australia.
Well, I think the first thing to say, Tom, is that Labor wants the vaccine program to work. We desperately want as many Australians to get the best possible vaccine as quickly as possible so that we can all start to move out of this still pretty difficult period where states are in and out of lockdown and we have cases popping up around the nation. And we know that's going to keep going until we've got really widespread vaccination rates. So if we're getting more Pfizer vaccines in Australia, then of course I'm happy about that. I think the issue that I would just mention is just that the pace at which this is all happening. We've got Israel, which has vaccinated 3.3 million people already. The US has vaccinated millions of people. And I'm not sure if you know this yet, but do you know how many have been vaccinated in Australia? Precisely 0. So we're very concerned about just seeing the rollout actually start. We've seen a lot of media releases about things that are good news, but we actually need to see people starting to get injections around the country. And so that's really what Labor's looking for.
Well, there's a really good reason why we haven't vaccinated anybody yet, Tom, and that's because we're actually doing pretty well here. Do you know we didn't have a single death in Australia from COVID-19 in January? That's extraordinary.
That's true.
What an amazing achievement.
And that's true, and that's why there's less urgency. But we've seen these lockdowns still crippling our economy. We have the vaccine approved. It can't roll out yet because we don't have doses here. We're not exactly sure when. I mean, we were not first in the queue, were we?
Well, we weren't first in the queue, but we don't need to be first in the queue. Moreover, we have an opportunity to take our time, make sure that all those TGA approvals are made very thoroughly, not just of the vaccine itself, but also if we're importing the vaccine from overseas, we want to make sure that the TGA has approved the manufacturing facilities where those vaccines are manufactured. That's particularly important. What our job is to do now is to make sure that we can engender trust in the Australian public, that they are aware of the vaccine rollout program, that we follow the medical advice as to who gets vaccinated first and how. Our aim, of course, is to have as many Australians as we possibly can vaccinated by around 3/4 of the way through the year. Now, that's an amazing achievement.
Yeah, it'll be an amazing achievement, I think, if we see that happen smoothly. What we're hearing, though, from doctors at the moment is that they don't even really know what their role in the rollout is going to be. We've got to get 20 million Pfizer doses to Australia and then into, the various sort of regions around the country. And we know that vaccine has to be stored at -70 degrees to remain active. So I just wouldn't downplay the enormous challenges ahead for us. We've already started a little bit behind because, frankly, I do think the government was not kind of as fast out of the blocks as many other countries to get those negotiations. And here we are today. We've got some good news with more Pfizer vaccines, but still no one's been vaccinated, and that's the bottom line for us.
Those negotiations are underway, Tom. We're already logistical partnering with DHL, with Linfox, with pharmacies and with GPs. That's already happening and it's on its way. By the end of February, by the middle of February, the vaccines will begin to roll out.